Yo, what's going on, guys? FaZe Blaziken or Lucas here, and as always, I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. Today, I am finally bringing you guys my Draw My Life. Now, this was supposed to go up yesterday, but I decided to take an extra day on it because I am not really the best drawer, and it took me a lot of time to draw all of this, even though the drawings aren't really that impressive. Like I said, I'm not really a drawing person. But yeah, this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I decided to save it for when I hit 1 million subscribers. We hit it a couple days ago, and yeah, today I'm finally bringing you guys my Draw My Life. So, my life begins on August 19th, 1996, the day I was born. I was born in Vienna, Austria, which is a small country in Europe right next to Germany, and they speak German there for those of you guys who don't know. My mom, Hema, and my dad, Christoph, were both born and raised in Austria. They lived in Austria their whole life, and they decided to name me Lucas. I was the only child in my family until a few years later my little sister was born, but for now, it was just me, my dad, and my mom. Now, ever since I can remember, I've always kind of been a happy kid. I've never really had very much to be sad about. I've always loved my family, loved people, loved my friends, loved life in general, and I've kind of just always had a smile on my face. But anyway, not much time after I was born, I was only 3 months old when my parents decided to move to America. My dad actually got a really great job opportunity in California, so my mom and dad, along with little 3-month-old baby me, packed up their things and moved to Mountain View, California. Now, I don't know about all of you guys out there, but sadly, I don't really have too many memories of my early childhood, but I guess that's just how it is. I don't know. But anyway, we didn't end up staying in Mountain View for too long. We ended up moving to a city called Palo Alto, which is where I lived my entire life. Basically, I was raised there. I had all my memories there. And by the way, still very much in California. I was raised in California all my life. I'm a very big fan of California. But yeah, when we moved to this new city called Palo Alto, I started going to a German-American international school. I went there from 1st to 7th grade. Now, the only language that I spoke at home was German. My parents did raise me speaking German, but I feel like the main reason why I still speak it today and why I'm so good at speaking German is because of this school. I'm very thankful still to this day that my parents decided to put me into that school because I really think that's the reason why I know German so well and I'm so in tune with like the German-Austrian culture. I really am thankful and I think it's awesome. Now, most of you guys out there know me because of FaZe and because I play video games, but I didn't really always enjoy playing video games. My biggest passion for a very, very long time was soccer, and I was just so in love with the game. It was the only thing that I thought about. I played it for hours and hours and hours every single day. I played it with my friends, I played it with my family, I played it by myself, and my biggest goal for a very long time was to become a professional soccer player. Like, my biggest goal as a kid was to play in the World Cup, to play with the people that I looked up to so much, and I just had a crazy passion for soccer, and I played it for many, many years to come. Now, like I said, from 1st to 7th grade, I went to this German school, and there really isn't very much to tell you guys there. Not really too many interesting stories. I was pretty much just your average normal boy, student slash athlete who went to school and played sports. But the first big change in my life came after 7th grade when I went to a completely new American school for 8th grade. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, 8th grade was a tough year for me because by the time that I got to that 8th grade class, everybody had already known each other and been friends with each other for 6th and 7th grade. And from the get-go, I was pretty much on the outside. Me and one other kid were the only new kids who came to that class that year, and it was already hard enough for me to make new friends at a completely new school, an American school where people only spoke English. I was growing up, I was learning a lot of new things about people, a lot of new things about myself, and that combined with people not really wanting to chill very much with me because I was kind of the new kid, it kind of made me feel like a loner, and that didn't really feel too good. So 8th grade was kind of a tough year. Nevertheless, 8th grade wasn't all bad. I definitely had some fun times. I made 2 friends that I actually still talk to today. They're 2 really good friends of mine. I had my first girlfriend too, and throughout all of 8th grade, I was still playing soccer. I was still killing it on the field. So after 8th grade was over, I wasn't really too excited to start going to an American public high school, so I wanted to go somewhere else, and I applied to a few different high schools, and I ended up getting into a school called St. Francis High School, which was in Mountain View, the place where I first moved to when I was first a little baby. And I was pumped as shit to go to the school because you actually had to apply to get into that school. It was a hard school to get into, and I got in, and I was just really excited. And also, this was my 3rd different school in 3 years of going to school. I like to think that before I went to the school, I was a really good kid, and I was just a normal, you know, sheltered little boy. But when I went to this school, I experienced some crazy shit. I don't want to discredit the school or give the school a bad rep because the school itself was actually really good. It's just some of the kids that went to that school were a little too crazy for me, and they just did some crazy shit. I witnessed a lot of shit that year that I didn't really want to witness. I don't know why I keep making my school experiences sound so horrible. That year was actually a really, really cool year for me. A lot of crazy shit happened, but I learned a lot of new things, and one of the most important and valuable things that I learned from that school was religion, the Christian religion. It was actually, the school that I went to, St. Francis High School, was a very much Catholic high school, and I learned a fuck ton about religion. And I was never raised in a religious household. I never really knew a lot about religion, but this school taught me a lot, and even though I never really took the religious part out of the school, I took a lot of the values that it taught me with me into my life, and I still use that today. Now again, when I first got to that school, I kind of felt like an outsider because a lot of the people already knew each other, they were already really good friends with each other, and it was kind of hard for me to make friends again. But during the first month of school, I ended up hurting my foot in PE class, and it was probably the luckiest injury that I've ever had because for a whole month while my foot was healing up, I had to sit and watch PE with another kid who also injured his foot. The kid's name was Cameron, and he quickly became my best friend during that year of school. He introduced me to a lot of new things and a new way of thinking that I still use to this day. He was definitely the most influential person in my life during that year of school. We definitely went through a lot of shit together that year, and we had some crazy adventures. We used to go to his house, and at night when his parents went to sleep, we would sneak out of his house, and one time we actually got chased by the cops through our high school, which is a different story for a different video, but sadly I don't talk to Cameron anymore, so if you're out there, bro, hit me up. Anyway, that school year completely flew by because it was just so much fun, and by the end of it, I had a really good school year. I had an awesome group of friends, and I was just really happy. But then my parents dropped some pretty heartbreaking news on me. I had finally had a solid group of friends that I hung out with all the time, and they told me that we were gonna move to Austria. And at first I was pretty upset about this because this was my 4th different school in 4 years, and I didn't really have a place, and I really enjoyed my time at that school, and I wanted to keep going there. But we had to move. It was because of my dad's job, and I didn't really know what to think about it. I had all these different emotions. I didn't know if I should be excited or if I should be sad, so I kind of went into it with a completely open mind. So yet again, we packed our bags and we made the trip across the Atlantic, this time from California to Austria, and I really didn't know what to think. It was a completely new country, completely new culture, and even though I had been there a lot to visit my family, I had never been to a school in Austria, and to be honest, I was kind of scared. The thing that scared me about going to school in Austria, it wasn't actually, you know, meeting a bunch of new people. I was actually very excited to do that, but what scared me was the fact that every single class was gonna be taught in German. And even though I kind of grew up speaking German, you know, with my family and at that school, I didn't grow up in a country where it was spoken and read every single day, and I just thought I was gonna be so much worse than everybody in my class. Everything from math to biology to history to literature, everything was taught in German, and my entire life up until that point, everything was taught in English. But with a lot of hard work and extra studying, which I hated, by the way, I actually ended up doing really well, and I was able to learn everything in German, and it was really cool. Now, besides school, my life in Austria was fucking dope. It was one of the best years of my life. I had a really great group of friends that I still talk to and visit every single time that I go to Austria. I got a motorcycle in Austria. Well, to be fair, it was more of a motocross bike, but it was fucking dope. It went 125 cc's, but me and my friends, we ended up making it go a lot faster, but it was my first motor vehicle that I could use by myself and be independent with, and it was so great. I also turned 16 when I was there, and in Austria, when you're 16 years old, you can legally go out and drink alcohol anywhere you want to. So me and my friends, we would go to bars and drink beer with adults and have these awesome experiences that you could only really have when you're 21 in the US. I mean, we were literally 16-year-olds going out into bars drinking with adults, and it was awesome. It was a crazy, just fun time in my life. Now, having said that, I also had some really shitty experiences with alcohol, and I saw some of my friends do some really dumb shit and go down some really dark roads. And after that time period in Austria, I really learned my limits with alcohol, and I actually decided to stay away from it, which is something that I've done to this day. Now, one other big thing happened during that year in Austria, and it was probably one of the most defining moments of my life, and it was one day after school when I went over to my friend Simon's house, and he showed me this YouTube channel called FaZe Clan. And after that day, I became the biggest FaZe fan that you can even imagine. I would come home from school every day and watch every FaZe montage every single day. Every FaZe video that they uploaded, I was there, I was watching it. I was so awestruck at what FaZe was doing that I was inspired to start YouTube during that year when I was 16 years old, and I decided to give myself the name Blaziken after my favorite Pokemon, which was the first video game that I ever played. And back then, and for a long time to come, my goal was not to join FaZe. I did not ever think it would ever be possible for me to join FaZe, period. And when I started YouTube, I was not in it for money or fame in absolutely any way whatsoever. The only thing that I really wanted was recognition from FaZe. That was like the biggest thing. The biggest thing in my life was FaZe, and even though I never thought I would be able to join, I thought of them as the coolest group of people, and I just wanted to do exactly what they did. I started making YouTube videos with my best friend Nick, who some of you guys might know from my more recent videos, but together we started a Call of Duty clan called XJMX. And when I really started to work hard on XJMX, I got so obsessed with YouTube and gaming. I would come home from school every single day, run up to my room, and just sit on my computer for 3 to 6 hours just gaming and making videos. And let me tell you guys, okay, my parents were not happy at all because I was starting to let my grades slip, and they saw how much time I was spending upstairs in my room room, not going outside, not hanging out with friends, and they were just starting to get kind of pissed off. But from start to where I am today, my parents always supported me, even if they didn't like what I was doing. If they knew that it was making me happy, they supported me. So thank you, Mom and Dad. You guys are fucking awesome. And seriously, Mom, thank you for not taking my Xbox every other day. But anyway, that year seemed to fly by. It was another really fun year, and originally our plan was to stay in Austria for the rest of our life, but what ended up happening is my dad got another, even better job offer back out in California, so we packed our bags again and made the trip back across the Atlantic. As I started to get more into YouTube, I stopped playing soccer. I played it a little bit towards the end of my time in Europe, but once I got back to the US, I completely just stopped, and I just only did video games and YouTube. Anyway, we ended up moving back to Palo Alto, California, into the exact same house, and I started going to another different school. It was called Gun High School, and it was my 5th different school in 5 years, and I was so excited to finally be at a school that I was hopefully going to stay at for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, which I ended up doing. We settled back into the California life, and during 10th and 11th grade, I really became obsessed, addicted, whatever you want to call it, with Call of Duty, more specifically Black Ops 2. I was playing it every single day, 24/7. It was crazy. I was having so much fun on the game, playing with my friends every single day, and I was making YouTube videos almost every single day too. My daily routine was going to school, sitting in school, looking at the clock, waiting for school to end, running home, and literally just playing COD and making YouTube videos every single day, all day. And as you can imagine, if you spend every day just playing video games and making YouTube videos, you're not really doing very much work for school, and my grades started to drop a lot. And my parents, even as nice as they were, you know, supporting me in what I did, they were getting pissed off, and I had to start coming up with new excuses all the time as to why my grades were slipping. The reason my grades were slipping was simply because I was just working so hard on YouTube. I was really working on the XJMX channel. I was uploading a video every 1 to 2 days. And after a long time and a lot of hard work, I ended up starting to make a name for myself, and I made it from XJMX into a trickshotting team called Spacebound. And joining SB just made me want to work even harder and reach even higher goals, and after a lot more hard work, I ended up joining a team called Obey. I was still uploading videos to YouTube every 1 to 2 days, and I was starting to gain a lot more subscribers. I think I had like 15,000 around that time, but I still did not think that I would ever join FaZe. It wasn't even one of my goals because I thought it was so unreachable. And it was really starting to get tough to balance YouTube with, you know, school and family and friends and sports and everything. It was really overwhelming. But surprisingly, in 11th grade, my grades actually started to go up a lot because my parents told me that if I want to continue doing YouTube and Xbox, that I have to keep my grades up, and I guess that just kind of motivated me. And honestly, thank God I pulled my shit together in 11th grade, because 11th grade is a super important year when it comes to applying to colleges and universities. You got to make sure that you're, you know, doing a lot of extracurricular activities, and you got to make sure that your grades are up if you want to make it into like a pretty good school. I balanced all the shit that I needed to. I got my grades up, and I was still able to continue making YouTube videos every 1 to 2 days, and then finally the summer came around, and it was a really great summer. It was the summer between junior and senior year. I went on some really cool adventures with my best friends. I played a lot of Call of Duty, made a lot of videos, but probably the best thing about that summer was the road trip that I took down to LA with my friend Garrett. The road trip was from San Francisco to, like I said, Los Angeles, and it was about a 6.5-hour drive, and me and my friend, we drove that long to go to MLG Anaheim, our first Call of Duty tournament. And still to this day, it was one of the best experiences of my life, just being able to see all these thousands of fans cheering on, you know, a video game, Call of Duty, and watching the pros sit in their booths and go crazy when a crazy play happened. It was just a really cool experience. And to top it all off, that weekend, I got to meet everybody in FaZe in person, and it was I can't even describe that experience because it was so overwhelming and unbelievable. They ended up inviting me to come chill at the FaZe house for a few nights, the FaZe house in LA that they had just, you know, rented for that tournament, and I got to meet, you know, everybody that I watched on YouTube, and I got to hang out with them and get to know them, and it was fucking awesome. Anyway, after that summer ended, I went back to my senior year of high school, which was my last year in high school, and I had to really focus on my college applications. I wanted to make it into a good school. But again, not gonna lie, one of the reasons I tried so hard in school and tried to get into a really good college was because I wanted to keep my parents happy so I could continue playing Xbox and making YouTube videos. And during my first semester of that senior year, my hard work on YouTube really started paying off. I actually ended up joining a new team that got created called Red Reserve, and it was the team right under FaZe. And when that happened, when I joined Red, that was like the first time where I thought to myself, like, holy fuck, FaZe Blaziken could actually be a reality. Like, this could actually happen. I started uploading videos every single day, and not too much later, I'd say about 2 months later, I joined FaZe, and it was fucking awesome. I was so hyped. And around that same time, I got even more good news. I found out that I got accepted into a school called UC Santa Cruz, and it was one of my favorite colleges that I really wanted to go to, and I was so excited. Now, during this time, everything in my life seemed to be perfect. I was growing a lot on YouTube. I was finally in FaZe. My family was super happy with me, and my school was doing really well. You know, I got accepted into a great school. I was just super happy. But I was also very well aware that once I do end up going to college, I'm probably gonna have to not do YouTube as much, which is something that I really enjoyed. So I started to think a lot more about college and, you know, what I would do there. Seriously, the only thing that I was thinking about was the next year of my life. I was thinking about, you know, college, everything that had to do with college, and that's all that I could think about. And then one day I was walking through school and a DM popped up from my phone from FaZe Banks, who asked me if I wanted to move into the FaZe house. Now, after I got that DM, I was faced with a pretty difficult decision. Do I go to the FaZe house, pursue YouTube, and, you know, make this a possible career even, or do I go to this university that I worked really hard to get into and that I really wanted to go? And it was a tough decision, but I'm not gonna lie, the second that Banks DM'd me, I knew in my heart what I really wanted to do, but I still, you know, weighed out all of the options and made sure that I was making the right decision. So yeah, as you can probably tell right now, I decided that I wanted to move into the FaZe house and pursue YouTube, so I packed my bags, said goodbye to my parents. They were very happy and very proud of me, and I made the trip from California to New York. But was I gonna love New York? That was the big question. I had no idea if this was gonna be a really fun experience or just a really, you know, bad experience, but I was ready. When I got to New York, I was scared. I did not know what I was getting myself into. I was living alone for the first time in my life. I had roommates, and they were, you know, famous YouTubers and people that I didn't really know too well. I was definitely self-conscious because I didn't want them to think badly of me. I wanted to be a good roommate, you know, I wanted to be a part of this incredible FaZe experience. But as you guys probably know right now, the people who live at the FaZe house are incredibly nice people, and they welcomed me with open arms, and I was able to just integrate my life into theirs, and it worked. It was fucking great. Now, fast forward to today. It's been 7 months since I made that move from California to New York, and a lot has happened in these past 7 months. I got to travel the world with my bros, stopping in cities like Berlin, London. We went to Florida, California, New York, obviously. I just learned so much on these trips and had so many awesome experiences. I got a lot closer with my roommates here at the FaZe house, and I even made some friends along the way that are gonna last a lifetime. And to top it all off, we even hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which was, again, something that I never thought I would ever achieve in my life. And that brings me to the end of this Draw My Life, which is you. You guys have made me so happy with everything that you guys have done, and I know that I've thanked you a lot in the past, but I just wanted to, for the end of this Draw My Life, I wanted to thank you guys for everything that you've done, all the support that you guys give me. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. But yeah, guys, that wraps up this Draw My Life video. For those of you guys who stuck around all the way to the end, it's a very long video, but I want to thank you guys for watching this video. It took me a very long time to make, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys left a like on this video. I actually missed an upload yesterday because I've been working on this video non-stop for a lot of hours, and I'm not really the best drawer, like I said. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Always remember to stay slothy, and yeah, that's been it. Peace.